ricelawmd.com.
We hope you never need us,
But if you're ever injured in an accident, we'll handle everything
with trusted guidance and personal attention.
so you can focus on what matters most.
Your recovery. Rice Law. Best advice, call Rice.
ricelawmd.com.
This is the story of the one. As an HVAC technician, he and his digital multimeter are in high demand. So when a noisy office HVAC turns out to be a failing blower motor, he doesn't break a sweat. With Grainger's easy-to-use website and product information, he selects the product he needs to keep everything humming right along. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
As a mom, comforting my family is what I do best. Vicks Vapor Stick provides soothing, non-medicated Vicks vapors in an easy-to-apply stick, and it dries fast, so there's no mess. I use it to comfort myself and my family.
Thanks, Mom.
Vicks Vapo Stick, soothing comfort for the whole family. And try Vicks Vapo Shower Max for steamy Vicks vapors when you need more comfort for yourself. Use as directed.
From the Thompson Creek Window Company studios, one window replacement company that does it all. This is WJZ-FM, Catonsville, Baltimore's sports talk at 105.7 The Fan, and always live on the free Odyssey app. Welcome to Game Day Uncensored Post-Game Show, presented by McDonald's, with your host, Ben Hall.
Right now the Bengals showing 8 on the line of scrimmage. Little pre-snap look for Jackson. They come heavy. Jackson underneath. It's Ali. First down and a lot more. Ali in for the Ravens touchdown. Burrow again kind of stumbles, and he's intercepted. Picked off by Van Noy. Then the handoff, it's Gilman. And Gilman is going to score as the Ravens look for the knockout punch. 95 yards.
Yes, two of the big plays there from the Ravens' big-time victory. The shutout win, 24-0 in Cincinnati. I'm Ben Hall here, and we'll be taking you guys for the next 2 hours up until Mike Popovic's portion of the overtime Baltimore Game Day Uncensored show. Big-time win. I'd be lying if I told you I expected it to go that way. I did think they'd win the game, but I thought it would be a 3-point game. I thought Joe Burrow would keep it tight. This defense, where has this been all season long? Such a great performance by those guys, and it made it easy on the offense. And it's been a while since we've been able to say they've picked each other up, right? A lot of things did not go right for them. There were some drops. There were some mistakes. Kyle Van Noy jumping off sides. But this team picked each other up time and time and time again. And some of those guys who were making mistakes bounced back. And we haven't seen that all season long. I mean, with Zay Flowers, you have the drop turning into an interception, which was costly. He ends up making a few other plays, ended up having another drop in the end zone. It would have been nice, but they were still able to make that field goal on Tyler Loop and make it a 17-0 game. The interception drop was costly. The touchdown drop did not go on to be costly, but Lamar Jackson did what he needed to. 8 completions for 150 yards and 2 touchdowns. Didn't need a lot from him, but he also had some big-time throws. He had a 14-yard run that was in a big moment. So it definitely felt good to see these guys really come through, make some big plays, and do what they needed to win the game. And shout out to my producer, Michael, we've been talking about it a lot on the show. When are we going to see Tyler Huntley? Michael comes in today, and he's like, it's late in the game. They're up 3 scores. He's like, maybe we're going to see Tyler Huntley. I'm like, good call. I've been calling for it for a while in some of these games where I thought we'd see it. I didn't think it would be against the Bengals team with Joe Burrow back. The defense, though, they get a big shout out. Derrick Henry, 11 carries for 100 yards, and a lot of the big explosive runs came later in the game when they needed to push Cincinnati away. Shout out to Derrick Henry and Todd Monken for letting him, get some carries later in the game, where in the other Bengals games we were questioning, where is he at? Why is he not on the field? And then Keaton Mitchell, 8 for 66, had a big run at the end, but he also throughout the game in some big moments where they needed him, they were able to get some carries from Keaton Mitchell. So very good thing to see. And it felt like so long since we've seen one of these wins. And I know week 2 against the Browns, that was one. Minnesota was pretty good, but this just felt dominant. Like from the second quarter to the finish, they were able to dominate the Bengals. They were up 14-0 at halftime. And just kind of how things have gone around here, I'm still saying like, can't wait to see how the second half goes. But it went perfect. The defense was able to make timely plays. And we had the play in the open there, the Kyle Van Noy interception. Now, in the first half, I was ripping Kyle Van Noy. I'm frustrated. The offsides play, which I thought could be costly, that happened. I didn't really know what to expect. I didn't know if they were going to kind of fade out and not be able to bounce back in a way that they did. But Kyle Van Noy ends up having another sack. He gets a lot of pressure as the game goes on. He made up for it. And then he gets a massive interception. And even if they score a touchdown there, I don't know that Cincinnati wins the game or comes quite close. But just the fact that they were able to hold the shutout, we know that this defense has talked about it a lot around here, just wanting to be able to shut teams out, wanting to be able to really make a statement. And this week was that. Now, did it come a little too late? Maybe a week too late? Possibly. But now you know that the defense can play up to that. And we know what we can get. There are some injuries we're going to have to find out more about. But this was the first time where I felt like collectively they were on. They played well. Like I mentioned before, Lamar Jackson had 12 attempts, but they absolutely got the most out of every single one of them. And I said it, like, it's been a while since we've seen one of those throws that he made to Zay Flowers for the touchdown. It was a beautiful ball. It was good to see Lamar in that aspect. And again, he only had 2 carries for 26 yards, but the 14-yard run was a big one. So felt very good with what I saw from this team as a whole. And it's been a while since I felt this good. So hopefully they can build off of it and maybe make a push into the playoffs. You feel a little bit better after holding a Cincinnati offense with Joe Burrow back to just 0 points. But as always in this first segment, before we get to your calls, let's get to the game highlights.
Game highlights are sponsored by the Green Turtle, featuring the Turtle Trio. 3 favorites for $15.99 plus $2 off personal pictures.
Right now the Bengals showing 8 on the line of scrimmage. Little pre-snap look for Jackson. They come heavy. Jackson underneath. It's Ali. First down and a lot more. Ali in for the Ravens touchdown. Bengals bring 4. Jackson towards the end zone, and it is caught. Flowers for the Ravens touchdown. Lamar Jackson surgical with that pass. And Lamar Jackson and company take over on downs. Pitch play here. Henry has some running room. Henry, first down and more. Henry barrels his way into the second and third levels of the defense. Burrow again kind of stumbles, and he's intercepted. Picked off by Van Noy. Then the handoff, it's Gilman. And Gilman is going to score as the Ravens look for the knockout punch. 95 yards.
Yes, those were top plays from the game. And I do want to get to that touchdown. Gilman, Kyle Van Noy coming away with the interception, handing it to Alohi Gilman, and Gilman finishing it. I'll be honest, I was sitting here, go down, yelling go down. I just did not want to see anything go wrong. And ultimately, they give it up, and it results in a touchdown. So I'm happy that was the outcome, but I'd be lying to you if I was saying, lateral. At first, I see him holding the football out, and I'm like, no, do not toss it back. Go down. The game's basically over. It's done. That's fine. They knew what they had in Alohi Gilman, and nobody could catch him. It resulted in a touchdown. I was glad to see that, but I was yelling go down. I was wrong. I will be the first to tell you that. It does feel good, though, seeing them force that turnover there. Because, all year long in those spots, we've been expecting nothing, right? You know that they're probably going to punch it in, and it helped that you got the pre-snap penalty. They got a false start to move them back just a little bit. And the consistent pressure of this defense resulted perfectly. It helped turn that into an interception. The second of the day for Joe Burrow. I continue to say, but where was this at? It felt so good to watch. And again, some of it's the opponent, but this Buffalo team did just score 30 plus points against, or this Cincinnati team against Buffalo last week in snow in an ugly weather game. And Joe Burrow, to some point, has had the number of the Ravens. Even though he struggled wins and losses, it's been their defense. And today, the defense didn't play great. They struggled against the run. Lamar was efficient in the throws and the completions that he did make. They were big time, but the Ravens defense, that was the takeaway from this game. We haven't seen that in so long. I don't know if we've really seen it all year. Maybe Cleveland week 1, Minnesota, they played pretty well, but there were still some explosives. And Jamar Chase had 100+. Nate Wiggins ultimately, I'm going to be honest, I thought a lot better of Nate Wiggins than others thought. I thought Nate Wiggins played fine. It's hard defending Jamar Chase when you have a guy pushing off and you know that the flag is not going to be towards you just because, that's a wide receiver 1. That's a top 3 wide receiver in the NFL. It's tough to defend those guys. And Nate Wiggins, he got beat a little bit. There were a few plays where Nate Wiggins probably would have liked to have him back. But on the 4th and 7, that was a clear push-off. If Zay Flowers does that, there's probably a flag there. We can have that conversation another time. But I thought Nate Wiggins held his own. He had some nice plays. And anytime you're covering a guy like that, and he wasn't shadowing him, he didn't follow him around the field, but he was in coverage on him a lot of the time. And although he did have 100+, I was fine with how Nate Wiggins played. I liked how Nate Wiggins played. I'm always talking up Nate Wiggins because I think he is a true CB1 in the NFL. And I will continue to talk him up. 410-583-1057. Enough of me. I want to get to the callers. Been a long time since we've been able to break down one of these exciting wins, a dominant win, a win where Lamar Jackson is on the bench late in the game, not because he's hurt, but because they won in dominant fashion. You could bring Snoop in to hand the football off. 410-583-1057. Ron in Owings Mills. What's going on, Ron?
No, it's Brian. What's up, man?
Oh, Brian, what's going on, Brian? How you doing?
Man, listen, I don't want to, rain on your parade, man, but let me just say this. I don't remember. I watched a little bit. I'm at the barbershop, but wasn't Falele not playing for a while? Was he starting?
Oh, Falele started. There was a few good videos on social media of him. It was like his controller turned off.
Yeah, because that dude he's just, man, listen, while he's playing, I don't know why they got that guy playing. It's so bad. He's so bad. Look, you want the win to beat the Bengals? Fine. You can have it. We're going to get crushed against the Patriots. You're going to get slaughtered against the Packers. This season is a wrap, man. And why are the Ravens signing bums like Andrews and that defensive tackle, Jones? Why? Just pissing more money away? Is Eric DeCosta trolling everybody? Is this some kind of sick joke? Because, you're signing garbage players instead of saving that money for real players you may need. You want to bring back likely. And then you got to at some point, you got to get the Flowers deal done. And you should get it done now instead of later. But the Ravens will wait later because they don't have a clue what they're doing.
Appreciate the call, Brian. I always do enjoy Brian's calls. I knew that it was going to be negative. And listen, Andrews, we didn't see much of him today. I thought there would be a bigger game from Andrews, but Travis Jones, you felt his presence early on. Travis Jones played a damn good football game, and that's good because right after the Andrews extension, it is kind of unfortunate. We haven't seen much of him, and he just hasn't been involved as much that you'd want from a guy that you just did agree to extend. Travis Jones today, you felt his presence from the jump. He was in the backfield. He was getting pressure on Joe Burrow. He was taking the run away a little bit. Travis Jones was a damn good game from Travis Jones. And there were a few 3rd and short and 4th and short plays where Travis Jones had his hands all over, blew the play up. So I do want to credit Travis Jones coming off of an extension. The way it's not been a good year for the Ravens defense. The run defense or the passing defense, they've improved a little bit with some personnel changes and some things somewhat similar to last year. But today, and also speaking of that, if we're going to credit some guys, Tavius Robinson. Welcome back. I'd be lying if I told you this was the impact that I would expect that guy to have in his first game back. That play to take them out of field goal range early on. Now, we can thank Joe Burrow a little bit for not throwing the football away and taking that sack there. But it's similar, not the same, because Lamar Jackson making plays in those out of nothing sometimes is way more different and a little bit more exciting. But Joe Burrow does avoid pressure a lot, does turn nothing into something at times. And that's one of those things where you got to take the good with the bad. Joe Burrow ends up taking a sack. There's been times where those have turned into a 35-yard Yoshivas touchdown, a 35-yard Chase touchdown, Gesicki, all of those guys he's made plays out of. So, again, you have to take the good with the bad there if you're a Bengals fan. But for the Ravens, Tavius Robinson, you just see the motor that he has, the push to finish plays And we saw it there. It was really good to see him back because that wasn't the only play that he made. He was physical. And I felt like there was a swagger to the defense that we just have not seen. They looked angry. They looked mean. Draymond Jones doing the crying face after hitting Joe Burrow a little late and saying they're crying over there. Like, if they need some swagger, if they need to talk some trash to play that way, do it every week. Like, it felt good. There was a physical presence that we saw with the Ravens defense that we saw years ago. Growing up, I always saw it. But, like, it hasn't been there for a while, especially since Mike has left. That felt good to see. So I like that. And those guys, those edge rushers, the way they filter them in. Mike Green had a sack right before halftime. Like, let them play with some confidence. I'd love to see that. 410-583-1057. Franchise in Delaware. What's going on, Franchise?
Beltway Ben. Good afternoon. Beltway, we live to play another week.
Absolutely.
We extended the season. Give credit to the coaching staff, both our defensive coordinator and offensive coordinator and head coach, for getting this team ready to play. Like you said, they played physically. They seemed to be a team that wanted it more in those elements. There was no doubt in my mind Burrow packed it in after his comments about he's not having fun. So, in my opinion, the Ravens were the much better team today. Now, with that said, New England losing against Buffalo, the Vegas odds are installing them as 1.5-point underdogs, which is a little concerning to me when Vegas does that, because the home team is legitimately normally given the 3.
You get 3, yeah.
And Ben, 1.5, especially after their loss against Buffalo. If they had won, they'd have locked up the division. Now Buffalo's only a game back, which then tells me Vrabel needs them to come in here and perform. So it's going to be a tough game. They flexed it to 8. I wanted to get your opinion about the Packers being flexed to 8. If we can, get the game against New England and then get to Green Bay, we give another week of, our fans hanging in there. I think it tells me that we do have a chance coming to Pittsburgh. That's all you ask for. Having a chance to win the division, going to the Steelers, and see if Tomlin will blow more kisses. If Tomlin wants to blow more kisses, after the fix was in, the National Fix League, maybe we go there. And that's all you ask for, is a chance in the last week of the season to win the division and get in the playoffs, get in the tournament, and have a home game. I'm sure Bisciotti would love that.
Absolutely. Absolutely, Franchise. Appreciate the call. Always appreciate your call. Couldn't agree more. Green Bay, I would say, I talked about it a little bit last week. I feel better looking at it, just team versus team. I feel better about New England than Green Bay. And again, being on the road at Lambeau compared to playing in Baltimore, of course you're going to feel better. But just ultimately, I don't think the Patriots are as good as the record says. Buffalo, today they're up, 21 points and end up blowing that game to Buffalo. And that can go two different ways. It either can force you to play better next week and come out angry, which I don't like playing teams off of a loss because you're usually going to get the frustrated opponent, the angry opponent. But also, that could be a killer for their season. They're still going to make the playoffs. I mean, they have one of the best records in the AFC. But blowing that game, having the division in your hands with a win, if you could have just held on, and your defense ultimately blowing the lead the way they did, and not winning a game against Buffalo, who, if you win that game, the division, as Franchise just mentioned, it's lined up. They would have won the division. Now, Buffalo's right on their heels, and if you could have beat Buffalo twice, it would have been crazy to see. And in most years, as Ravens fans, we're rooting for that. You want to have that with Buffalo, but right now, I don't even care who the Ravens would match up with in the playoffs. I just want to see the Ravens get in. So it's crazy that we're here, but again, this was a good sign. They got to build off of it. Next week in New England, every week right now, we're saying the most important game of the year, But they, as Franchise mentioned, they stay alive. They're in a better spot than they were last week, but if they could have won that Pittsburgh game, they would be perfect. They would be looking perfect right now. But I do like that they took a little bit of anger out on Cincinnati after Thanksgiving. It's pretty embarrassing. At home, national TV. the Joe Burrow return, you should be able to get after him. You should be able to dominate that defense, and they couldn't do it. But to shut them out in Cincinnati and to hear those boo birds all throughout the game, I mean, at halftime, them punting late in the game when it was basically over, like, it was definitely a good feeling to see them embarrass them. But this week means nothing if you can't win next week. And that's how it's going to be moving forward. Now, could Pittsburgh help you out and lose to Miami Monday night? They're probably going to lose, their other matchup. I mean, they have a few tough matchups. I think they played Detroit, I believe, which they're not beating Detroit, regardless of how banged up Detroit is. If they can win the next two, the Ravens somehow win the next two, and force that Week 18 game to be winner gets to the playoffs, the loser, and win the division, and the loser doesn't, that would be a great feeling. Now, again, I think if they win these next two, they're beating Pittsburgh Week 18. I fully believe that. Pittsburgh got out of here pretty luckily last time. The Ravens shot themselves in the foot. They did not get any help from the officials, and I don't want to continue to talk about the officiating, but it was nationally talked about. Like, they missed multiple calls all week, and all of a sudden pregame, by the way, we find out that you do need a third foot, and the NFL swiped that one into the rule book. Like, the NFL officiating is a joke. I could talk about that for my 2 hours if I really wanted to, but we can't. We do have to hit a break. Mitch from New Jersey, we will get to you when we get back. But we'll continue to play some highlights. Slowly, we'll get some audio. We'll find out a little bit more about the injuries. That's coming up next here on the Baltimore Game Day Uncensored postgame show.
This is the story of the one. As the purchasing manager at a manufacturing plant, she knows the only thing more important than having the right safety gear is having it there when you need it. That's why she partners with Grainger for auto reordering, so her team members can count on her to have cut-resistant gloves on hand, and each shift can run safely and efficiently. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Some people just know they could save hundreds on home insurance by checking Allstate first.
Hold it.
Like to check the assembly instructions first.
Hold it.
Before building the bookcase.
And done. Whew. You can let go.
Yeah, checking first is smart. So check Allstate first for a quote that could save you hundreds. You're in good hands with Allstate.
Not available in every state. Potential savings vary. Allstate Vehicle and Property Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
Bring it 2026 with a bang on New Year's Eve at Barrel House Live with the one and only Amish Outlaws. We've got a night packed with nonstop entertainment. Before they hit the stage, DJ Nick is turning the party up early. So grab your crew and choose your vibe. Gold VIP gets you premium parking, early entry, VIP seating, champagne toast, party favors, photo booth giveaways, and more. General admission includes the champagne toast, party favors, and photo booth fun. Visit FalstonBarrelHouse.com for all the details.
NFL Sunday's coming. You've got your crew, your couch, your snacks, your slate, and FanDuel is coming in with something extra. This isn't just another NFL Sunday. It's your chance to place that perfect parlay or hit your go-to player prop, and now we're making it all better. That's right. Even this week, FanDuel's bringing the bonus. Right now, all customers can get 50% profit boost on any NFL bet. However you play your game, FanDuel's got your back with something extra in your account, because that's what Sunday should feel like. Visit FanDuel.com/Rob to download the app and get in on the action before kickoff. FanDuel, official sportsbook of 105.7 The Fan, 21 and over. President of Maryland, opt-in required. Bonus issued is non-withdrawable profit boost tokens. Restrictions apply, including any token expiration and max wager amount. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Please play responsibly. For help, visit mdgamblinghelp.org or call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Hey, Ravens fans, Verizon's kicking off big savings, scoring a touchdown with low prices locked in for 3 years guaranteed on my plan. Get a single line for a low price of just $50 a month when you switch and bring your phone on unlimited welcome with auto pay plus taxes and fees. It's a deal that'll have you doing an end zone dance. Don't get flagged for high prices. Huddle up at your local Verizon store today. You'll be tackling savings in no time. Verizon, the official 5G partner of the Baltimore Ravens. $20 monthly credit applied over 36 months. Sometimes with congestion. Unlimited 5G and 4G LTE may be temporarily slower than other traffic. Domestic data roaming at 2G speeds. Price guarantee applies to then current base monthly rate. Additional terms apply. See store for details.
Get ready for an unforgettable holiday season at Horseshoe Baltimore. December 20th, experience an incredible live performance by Gabby Simone and the Amours. Football season isn't over yet. On Baltimore football game days, swipe at the kiosk for your chance to earn bonus-free casino play when they win. And on December 27th, one lucky winner will walk away with $10,000 in cash as part of their $25,000 prize giveaway. Step inside and learn more about how you can win big. Horseshoe Baltimore, where the holidays shine brighter. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Catch of the Day is sponsored by Town Appliance and Owings Mills. They have you covered for all your indoor and outdoor appliance needs.
Right now the Bengals showing 8 on the line of scrimmage. Little pre-snap look for Jackson. They come heavy. Jackson underneath. It's Ali. First down and a lot more. Ali in for the Ravens touchdown.
Yeah, the catch of the day, the 30-yard reception, Rasheen Ali for a touchdown, and it was just a simple throw. And the Ravens' offense with all the struggles, been a lot of frustrations, and things have not gone right in any way. But it has felt like some of the easy throws for Lamar Jackson just haven't been there, whether that's because they're not being called, quite honestly, or when they are called, it's an underthrow, thrown to the ground. I mean, remember that one from Keaton Mitchell, I think on Thanksgiving night it was, on the out. They haven't been there. And the commentators were talking about it. I think that they, early in the game after, I think it was the first punt, they were saying they need to get some more easy throws for Lamar Jackson, let him build some confidence that way. And that's what we saw. That was a 30-yard passing touchdown. We saw Lamar hit Zay Flowers on a beautiful throw, beautiful ball in the back of the end zone, the left side of the end zone. So I talked about it before. In the cold, I didn't expect a lot from the Ravens passing offense. I mean, we know it's kind of what Lamar Jackson is. Doesn't love the cold. He still performs there. We've seen it with him time and time again. But it was the coldest game in Ravens history. So I just didn't know what to expect. And the passing offense, to be quite honest with you, has not been there. He still took 4 sacks. The offensive line still struggles. It feels like always they're playing 4 on 5. But they did finish what they needed to. The 8 completions, I said it before, they were important. They were at the right times and in the right spots when they needed them to be, so you can't complain there. And they really didn't have that many plays, to be quite honest with you, right? He takes 4 sacks. They only had 12 attempts running the football. Derrick Henry and Keaton Mitchell combined for 19 carries, and then Tyler Huntley had the 3 kneels at the end, and Lamar's 2. There wasn't a lot of plays on offense. The Bengals threw the ball 39 times. They ran the ball 29, but it was bend, don't break for the majority. And they had a few big plays that were able to take it away. I mean, they crossed midfield a few times. The big interception from Marlon Humphrey playing with the boot on his hand, that's pretty big. The one at the goal line, the game was probably over at that point. But just to hold up the shutout and let this defense feel good about itself for the first time in a while, you love that. And again, it was against Joe Burrow. It wasn't 9, J.J. McCarthy. Those games, you felt good after Minnesota. That was probably the best I felt in between these. They haven't had a lot of games where you've been able to feel great. Cleveland was fun, but they still played down to competition, it felt like. And if Shedeur didn't get kind of tossed out there to struggle, I don't know that they win that game. To be quite honest with you, I just don't. So between all of these, again, this is the best feeling you've had about a Ravens game in a while. I just have to be honest. It was dominant. It was against a top 4 quarterback in the NFL, a dog in Joe Burrow, a wide receiver 1, probably the best wide receiver in the NFL right now, maybe the second best. And it was against a team that just beat you on Thanksgiving, as I said. So very good feeling there. Glad to see that. Let's go back out to the phone lines now. 410-583-1057. Mitch in New Jersey. What's going on, Mitch?
Happy holidays, Ben. How you doing?
Same to you, Mitch. Same to you.
Unbelievable. We beat one of the best quarterbacks in the league and probably the best wide receiver combo. We ran more than we passed. And we had more rushing yards than passing yards, which you like to see that the other way around. But you did great with the defense. And just got to hope we can protect Lamar better, less sacks. Anyway, it'll be a good game next week. Thanks for taking my call.
Yeah, appreciate the call, Mitch, as always. Appreciate you calling in. Fully agree. They need to do what they can to protect him. And it's not going to be warm next week. It's not going to be this cold. I mean, the coldest Ravens game in NFL history. I mean, I was at the 2017 Bengals game or 2018 Bengals game on New Year's when the Tyler Boyd game, when he broke everybody's heart. You thought you were going to be in the division. 4th and long, Dalton hits Tyler Boyd, and the Ravens ultimately lose that game. Sorry to bring that one up. But no, I was at that one. That one was freezing. So today it was that much colder. Like, they've played in a lot of cold games. This one being that cold definitely speaks to it. And the defense showing up in this spot. You mentioned it, Mitch. Like, it's shocking. And I know I continue to say it, but there was nothing in me that believed that could be a possibility. And then you have Teddy Buchanan, who's gotten better as the year goes on. He suffers a knee injury on that punt return, and it's like, oh no, now you're going to have Trenton Simpson out there. He hasn't been out there much, and Trenton Simpson played fine. Like, he did his job. This defense collectively played together, and the offense wasn't special, but Derrick Henry had some home run carries when he needed to. As I said before with Lamar Jackson, the completions were efficient. They meant something. And the one interception ultimately was because of a drop. Zay Flowers catches it with his body, goes in, pops out, and lands right in their hands. And good thing, it was right where it was. They were able to tackle him, and the defense was able to ultimately stop them, get the football back. But yeah, shout out to the Ravens defense. Zay Flowers, I talked about it. It was a roller coaster day. After the interception drop, I thought maybe we'd be talking about the costly mistakes biting them at the end of the day, but it didn't. Zay Flowers also had a big catch. He had another big play other than the touchdown. 3 catches for 68 yards. The drop in the end zone was tough. I will agree with that. But they were still able to make a field goal to make it 17-0 at that time. And in this game, it didn't haunt them, or it wasn't a killer. Now, it was a little high. You still should have called the football, but that can't happen against a New England or a Green Bay in Lambeau in that tough environment in the freezing cold. Because as cold as today was, Green Bay in 2 weeks is going to be pretty damn cold. And it's also not the 3 or 4 o'clock game because, of course, you got to make that one 8 p.m. on a Saturday. Why couldn't you give them the 4 o'clock game? Not the game in the Dome in L.A. We'll give Baltimore the freezing cold game in Lambeau. And it is what it is. The sun's not going to be out, of course. But no, I mean, if you want to make the playoffs, you dug this hole. So, like, we've seen Super Bowl teams do it. 2012. And now, again, this is how this team is constructed, where they are. I don't want to be a downer, but I don't see a realistic scenario, this team winning a Super Bowl. Now, if the offense changes things, if the offensive line figures it out, which, again, today I talked about it with Falele, I think once a week we're seeing videos of him on replay just kind of standing there. And my brother-in-law pointed out when we're watching the game together, it's like his controller turned off. I mean, he's just sitting there. Guys are running around, and he's just kind of in his spot. It's the assignment. It is what it is. Don't love to talk about the offensive line a ton on here because it's weekly. Like the offensive line is not very good. And John Harbaugh at his press conference this week kind of told you guys what he feels, told all of us what he feels about Emory Jones. I don't know that we'll see him again this year. My buddy Cordell Woodland, host of the Fresh Take with me, had asked the question, and John was like, it was pretty clear where they stand on Emory Jones right now, which is unfortunate because with the way that they're paying a lot of guys, especially on the defense, a lot of heavy contracts on that defense, and you're going to pay your quarterback top 5 quarterback money, hopefully top 1 whenever you can finally get that extension done. These late day 2 picks and early day 3 picks are going to have to make an impact early on. Emory Jones, they drafted him knowing the injury, but not being able to get anything out of him is unfortunate, especially when there is a glaring weakness at the guard spots. I would probably lean more to the right guard to the left guard, but the Ravens seem to think more of Falele than they do Voorhees. Just kind of where we are. But again, the offense, the first 2 drives, I was extremely concerned. I'll be honest. I was like, oh no. They got better as the game went on. And there were a few big runs, some big blocks, key blocks from guys. So do want to shout them out as the game went on. They got better. And the 1 sack, like Lamar did take 4 sacks. The guy's on the ground injured and he didn't see him and runs right. Like that one, I can't put on the offensive line. I mean, the guy's laying on the ground. Lamar Jackson just didn't see him, trips over him. And they were right around midfield. Looked like maybe they would have a chance to make a big play. And he went down. That was also later in the game. So kind of want to lay off the offensive line a little bit just for today because we had a win. We had a shutout win. I don't want to continue to be negative. We've had enough of those weeks, right? Let's try to keep it somewhat positive. But again, like we do have to call things out because these next 3 weeks are crucial. You didn't sign, and Lamar Jackson's talked about it, you didn't sign DeAndre Hopkins to come here and be a 9-8 team that just misses the playoffs. He came here because he wanted to win a Super Bowl. Now, I said it before, I don't know that this team has the dogs to, but like I said, like Tavius Robinson brought something to that defense. I don't know. I just feel, it felt to me like they played with a lot more swag today. They felt a lot better about themselves. They were talking trash. They were physical with a top quarterback. Thankfully, I'm talking about this in this way with no penalties. If they do get, 2 of those penalties on roughings, I'm saying, boneheaded mistake, whatever. I don't think they should have been penalties. Of course, the whole Cincinnati town is still complaining. But no, we've gotten gypped enough by these officials. So you feel good about where you're at right now. 410-583-1057. We are starting to get some John Harbaugh audio. We will get that to you guys as soon as possible. Continue to take your calls at that line. That's coming up next here on the Baltimore Game Day on Sensor Postgame Show.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-9834. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-9834. That's 800-575-9834. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Hey, football fans, picture this. You bet on your favorite player to score the first touchdown in the game, but his teammate scores instead. If this happens, BetMGM wants to give you another chance at the end zone. With BetMGM's second chance promotion, you'll get your stake back if your first touchdown scorer scores second instead. That's right. Bet on any pro football player to score the first touchdown of the game. If you're right, you win. If your player scores second, you get your stake back in cash. With BetMGM's second chance offer, you have a chance to keep the fun going after the first player crosses the goal line. Try a first TD score wager with confidence today. BetMGM. Make it legendary. BetMGM and GameSense remind you to play responsibly. See BetMGM.com for terms. 21 plus only. Maryland only. Existing customer offer. Subject to eligibility requirements. Rewards paid back in unrestricted withdrawable funds. Please play responsibly. For help, visit mdgamblinghelp.org or call 1-800-GAMBLER in partnership with MGM National Harbor.
Hey, it's Vinny Haynie from my buddies at Box Hill Pizzeria. For over 40 years, Box Hill Pizzeria and Crab Cakes, they've made holiday special occasions and everyday meals easier and more enjoyable for everyone. So treat yourself to a famous Box Hill crab cake or ship anywhere in the U.S. Whether it's seafood, Greek specialties, Italian dishes, or supersized salads, Box Hill Pizzeria and Crab Cakes, they got you covered. Dine in, pick up. Now you can order DoorDash, Box Hill Pizzeria and Crab Cakes, menu items right to your door. BoxHillPizzaRestaurant.com. Best crab cakes in Maryland.
Rumor has it there's a new side dish this fall season that's sweeter than your mom's sweet potato souffle. You can now earn Upside cash back at Giant. That's right. You can get up to $15 cash back on every Giant run at more than 100 stores in D.C., Maryland, Virginia, and Delaware. Whether you're shopping for the entire holiday menu or just picking up some last-minute items and find some peace and quiet while you're at it. You'll get Upside cash back on every Giant run. It's a pretty big deal.
Download the free Upside app and start earning today. Use promo code CHARM12 to get a $10 bonus on your first grocery purchase at Giant. That's promo code CHARM12 to get a $10 bonus at Giant. Use promo code CHARM12.
Giant is now on Upside. That's a pretty big deal.
Offers vary by user and location at participating merchants. Go to upside.com for terms and conditions.
This holiday season, we'll help you with your gifts. You and your family can have the full power of America's best 5G network and 4 free 5G phones for just $25 a month per line. Holiday shopping just got easier. Now, when you should get your dog, we can't help you with that. Visit your neighborhood Total Wireless store. Offer ends January 7th, 2026. Subject to device availability. Device taxes and fees may apply. Requires new activation on a total base 5G unlimited plan. Port in and ID verification requirements vary by device. Limit Limit to 4 devices per account. Rankings based on Root Metrics United States Root Score Report dated first half 2025. Your results may vary.
Dietz & Watson's been making meats and cheeses the right way since forever. What's that mean? It means never cutting corners, ever. It means cooking, not processing. It means our Virginia brand ham that's cooked to perfection, then twice baked to layer the flavors. It takes more time, but you can taste the difference. We come to work every day to do it the right way, even if it's the hard way. Because if it's not right for us, it's not right for you. Dietz & Watson, it's a family thing since 1939.
It's the McDonald's postgame show. Call or text with your take on the Ravens game. 410-583-1057.
I believe all of us on offense had the rhythm. It felt like us. And we just had to keep pushing the envelope, just keep getting first downs, stay out of get back on track, because it's hard to convert in the NFL, trying to get back on track. So we stayed out of those situations, but got positive yards and stayed ahead of the sticks.
Yeah, Lamar Jackson there talking about the offense being in rhythm, and it absolutely felt like that for the majority of the game. I mean, the first drive, I think they got a first down or two and then had to punt, and I'm like, oh no, it's going to be an ugly game. The defense kind of, Cincinnati was moving the ball a little bit, but they got a few key stops, forced some turnovers, big sacks, the pressure. Again, like, I keep saying, oh, where was this at? It felt good to see. Now, some of that you can thank Cincinnati's offensive line for, but Tavius Robinson just brings a little bit of a swagger. And there were a lot of people talking about him inside that building during the training camp. He suffers the injury early on in the year. Thankfully, they were able to get him back. Ardarius Washington was out there for a few snaps. Feels extremely good to see that. Hopefully, this is, a sign of things to come. This defense is starting to change a little bit, forcing some turnovers, and they can continue to make some plays. You need to continue to get pressure because Drake May, we know how he is. Great passer. He can move around with his legs, make plays. Travion Henderson, another big day against Buffalo. So the defense is going to have to come ready to go there. Green Bay, we know the monster they are. Bunch of dogs. And then Pittsburgh. Like, I keep saying it, if they can win these next two, now it is a big ask. They're, franchise pointed out earlier, they're slight favorites at home against New England next week. In Green Bay, they'll probably be slight underdogs, but John Harbaugh's teams have been very good in those spots. If you can win those two, Pittsburgh will not want to see you week 18. Like I said it after the game last week, even with the loss, Pittsburgh is not a good football team. The Ravens are a better team than them. Now, the Ravens aren't amazing, but Pittsburgh is just not a good football team. And who even knows the stuff going on here with TJ Watt? We know the plays that he can make against Baltimore, the dry needling situation with him punctured along. Hopefully everything is all right there. Who knows if he'll be ready to go? I know he's going to be out Monday night, but very unfortunate situation there. 410-583-1057. I got Kevin in Ellicott City. What's going on, Kevin?
What's up, Big Ben?
How you doing, man?
Doing great, brother. I think it ended the way we expected today,
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm with you, man. I mean, for me, I'm glad that less wasn't more in the winning formula for the other team this week. We went through that a lot over the last 5 games, beating us with less. We got more. I'm really proud of Lamar. He's showing a lot of leadership and toughness over the last month or so. The offense looked more like Lamar Jackson's offense. Gilman, Humphreys with the picks. I mean, overall, great team effort, man. I'm really proud of these guys, man. And it was a fun game to watch today. And I think we can win these games, Ben, coming up. I really do. I think, like you said, Green Bay is going to be our toughest one. But, hey, maybe our dogs are coming to the fight too.
No, yeah, absolutely, Kevin. Appreciate the call. Always appreciate you calling in. You make a good point there. Like, I mean, both sides got to be ready to go. And the Ravens have not been great. I get all that. But, Green Bay has their weeks. We saw them tie the Cowboys and really kind of start something in Dallas. We saw them lose to Joe Flacco leading the Browns earlier. And then this was earlier in the year. And Jordan Love's been better. That team's been better. And I've been super high on Green Bay, but they don't have anything special. And I don't know that anybody in the NFL truly does. The only team that I would say, fully scares me would be LA. And without Lamar Jackson and a number of guys on this defense, they came here and played an ugly football game. And if the Ravens could have figured out a tush push, maybe we're speaking different about the season as a whole right now because they're in the playoff picture. Now what Mike has going in Seattle, and by the way, today facing a 44-year-old Phillip Rivers, I mean, what have things come to? Shout out to Phillip Rivers. I mean, that's a dog right there wanting to go at 44, but like against a Mike McDonald-led defense. Remember all the quarterbacks that he hurt? His defense is hurt in Baltimore those years, like C.J. Stroud, Young. There were a lot of quarterbacks that were starting games and not finishing them, playing Mike McDonald-led defenses when he was in Baltimore. I don't know how Phillip Rivers is doing it, but we'll get a little bit more to that when we go around the league. But back to the Ravens. Kevin brought up a good point. Alohi Gilman. He seems to always be around the football. And he has an issue with finishing tackles. That's what the thing has been. It was like that in L.A. I know when the trade happened, a lot of L.A. Reporters and everything, that was kind of what they said. I mean, he'll be around the football. He's a heady football player. The issue is sometimes he struggles to finish tackling, and we've seen it. Today, though, he was on a mission. It was a different mentality. And they were letting a lot of things up front. And the issue with the Ravens throughout the year, the soft coverage, the soft zone that they've played, it frustrates all of us as fans. But a lot of that is usually the soft, take what you want in front of us, and then we'll miss a tackle or two, and we won't have the ball pursuit, and you'll be able to do what you want. Today, that wasn't the thing. Joe Burrow didn't have much down the field, and when he did make a throw underneath, somebody was there making a tackle, punching the ball out, just doing different things, and they were physical. They were angry. They just looked like a defense, a unit on a mission. Alohi Gilman has to get a shout out. And also, we did have a franchise mentioned earlier. As hard as we are on the coaching staff, including myself, regularly, always, you have to give them credit. The guys were ready to go today. They looked prepared. They were the better coached football team against Cincinnati. I mean, you can't argue otherwise. Like they were better coaching. It starts with John Harbaugh and goes down to the coordinators. This was a prepared football team. It just was. You got to give credit there. They looked like they knew that their backs are against the wall and they got to do something, and they came out and did it. Shutting this Bengals offense down to what they did, it's extremely impressive, and I do just have to give the shout out there because I said on the pregame show I thought it would be 27-24 Ravens. That was my final score. Ravens scored 24, Bengals scored 0. I thought it would be an over game, even with the cold. That plays a factor into some of it, but like both offenses have to deal with that. And the Ravens were able to do what they needed to win the game. I said it before, 8 completions for Lamar Jackson, but to have where it was and still throw for 150 yards, there were some big explosives. There were also a few misses. The Mark Andrews one, right before halftime, that was the same drive where Zay scored, so it ultimately didn't impact you enough. But that ball goes, it was a little too high for Andrews through his hands and hits the DB in the face. Like, if they intercept that football, things could be different. It was a miss by Lamar, but the same drive, he hit Zay on a beautiful ball in the back of the end zone. And we talked about Travis Jones, just this defense as a whole, like they were ready. They looked frustrated. They looked angry. And they were talking trash, and there was a swagger about them that we haven't seen all season long. Coming into the year, that's what I expected, right? You bring in Jair Alexander. That cornerback room is as good as it's ever been. Chido Awuzie was one of the more underrated signings. We have to find out what's going on with his knee. I know he was ruled out. They cannot afford to lose Awuzie because when he was out there, like he did have some matchups with Chase, and we saw it on Thanksgiving. He was the only guy on the defense that was ready to go on Thanksgiving. He was shutting down Chase when he had the matchup. And he's just been a very consistent football player when he's been healthy. Now, he's another one who's dealt with some injuries, so we'll hear an update on him hopefully pretty soon with John Harbaugh. Have to hope that everything's okay with Awuzie because they can't afford to lose that. And like there were some injuries popping up today that you hate to see. But when you play in those elements, guys are going to be banged up. You just hope that it's a 1-week thing just today in the cold. Hopefully you can get them back on the practice field this week because they're going to need all their dogs ready to go against New England. And hopefully it's the same underdog mentality that they had today. Guys talking trash, guys playing frustrated. Because you know that the Patriots are going to be that with that mindset under Vrabel. All of Vrabel's coach teams are like that. And we'll prepare that game a little bit more in the final segment of this show here. next hour. But coming up next here, we will go with the Fantasy Island. We'll continue to get some audio. Alohi Gilman talk, some more Lamar Jackson, but we do have to hit Fantasy Island. Who stood out? There weren't a lot on the offense. The Ravens defense, if you had them, that was a good play, but not a lot of guys that you probably have on your team were the players. We'll get to that next here on the Baltimore Game Day Uncensored postgame show.
$5,000. That's the average amount of money people in the U.S. are now spending on gas in a year. $5,000. That's crazy. If you drive, you have to download Upside, the free app that gives you cash back every time you get gas. That's right. You can earn real cash back with Upside just by buying the gas you're already buying. You can literally start earning cash back today.
I use Upside every time I fill up, and I've already made around $200-$300.
You're putting gas in your car anyway. Why not get real cash back? If you like free money, download Upside.
I'm saving the cash I earn from using Upside to help pay for a vacation later this year.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code CODE to get an extra 35 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code CODE for a 35 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code CODE for a 35 cents per gallon bonus.
And now, more fantasy football tips from the Maryland Lottery. Ooh, a trade offer. Sure, people tend to overthink trades, but not you. Unless it snows in Atlanta, or that defense gives up too many points. What if this running back retires between now and Sunday? You can always trade for a whole new game by playing Ravens Scratch-Offs. Get a chance to win up to $200,000 instantly or other great Ravens prizes. When fantasy gets too real, change your game to Ravens Scratch-Offs. Please play responsibly.
Guys, thanks for helping me carry my Christmas tree.
Zoe, this thing weighs a ton.
Drewski, live with your legs, man.
Santa! Did you get my letter?
He's talking to you, Bridges.
I'm not.
Of course he did. Right, Santa?
You know, my elf Drewski here, he handles the nice list.
An elf? I'm 6'3". What everyone wants is iPhone 17. And at T-Mobile, you can get it on them. That center stage front camera is amazing for group selfies. Right, Mrs. Claus?
I'm Mrs. Claus's much younger sister. And at T-Mobile, there's no trade-in needed when you switch. So you can keep your old phone.
Or give it as a gift.
And the best part, you can make the switch to T-Mobile from your phone in just 15 minutes.
Nice. My side of the tree is slipping.
Timber!
The holidays are better at T-Mobile. Switch in just 15 minutes and get iPhone 17 on us with no trade-in needed.
With 24 monthly bill credits for well-qualified customers plus tax and $35 device connection charge. Credits end and balance due if you pay off earlier. Cancel finance agreement. 256 gigs, $830. Eligible port in a new line. $100 plus a month plan with autopay plus taxes and fees required. Check out in 15 minutes or less per line. Visit T-Mobile.com.
When someone treats you like family, you remember it. That's why so many clients send their loved ones to Rice Law. Because we don't just handle cases, we take them personally. Rice Law. Best advice, call Rice.
RiceLawMD.com.
We hope you never need us, but if you're ever injured in an accident, we'll handle everything with trusted guidance and personal attention so you can focus on what matters most, your recovery. Rice Law. Best advice, call Rice.
RiceLawMD.com.
Xfinity is the network you can rely on, like a close friend who never lies. The friend who will tell you that new haircut, it's not great. Friends make sure friends get good haircuts. And Xfinity makes sure you get a good deal on Wi-Fi. Xfinity gives you reliable fiber-powered Wi-Fi at our best price. This holiday season through December 21st, get gig speed Wi-Fi for just $50 a month for 5 whole years. No strings, no commitments. Just super fast, reliable gig speed Wi-Fi with our best equipment and unlimited data included. Save yourself from questionable decisions and save over Verizon and AT&T. Xfinity. Imagine that. Restrictions apply. Requires paperless billing and auto pay with stored bank account. Taxes and fees extra. Xfinity Internet powered by fiber and connected to premises by coaxial cable. Actual speeds vary.
Fantasy Island. Brought to you by Dubo Law. Real people, real results. Call 410-ASK-DUBO for a free consultation.
Yeah, I mentioned it before last segment. Like the one name, of course, every week you're going to talk about Lamar Jackson. Everybody has him, and if you do have him, you're probably playing him unless you have a better quarterback. But it would have to have been like a Drake May that you drafted as your QB2, something like that. But Lamar, 152 passing touchdowns, did have the one interception, also added 26 yards on the ground. Derrick Henry's another one where regularly you're getting good out of him. 11 carries, 100 yards. Hopefully your leagues have a 100-yard bonus. And then the one name that I did want to mention, Zay Flowers also had a good day, 3 catches, 68, 1 touchdown, probably right around where his projection was, something close. Maybe he did score a little more. Rasheen Ali had 2 catches, 32 yards, and a touchdown. Didn't have a rush, but again, if you're playing with Rasheen Ali on your fantasy team, you've got to be in a 16-team league and maybe just made the play. I don't know. If that's what you had, that's impressive that you had, the balls to play him. But that was the guy on this side. I mean, Jamar Chase had 10 catches for 132 yards. Pretty regular day from him. Chase Brown, nothing special. Joe Burrow, 225 and 2 picks. Didn't have a good day at all. Yeah, Rasheen Ali was the guy here. Very, very impressive showing from Rasheen Ali. And it was simple. It was 2 catches, one being a 32-yard or a 30-yard reception, the other just being 2. The 30-yard reception kind of set a precedent for what this game was going to be. It was a statement. It was a big-time play, and it was simple. A simple completion for Lamar Jackson. You're going to give me this underneath. I'm going to take it, and we're going to let our running back go. And that's exactly what happened. So it was really good to see that because, as I said earlier, there just hasn't been a lot of simple throws, and the execution hasn't been there. There have been some, set up where it feels like Derrick Henry has a lot of green in front of him, or even Keaton Mitchell, and it's just a missed throw, or it's a drop, or it's getting blown up with the offensive line or wide receivers not blocking their assignment. We didn't have to deal with that here. And the rest of the game, it was, pretty set forward for the offense. They were efficient both with Lamar, as I said, and the run game. Derrick Henry didn't have many carries in the first half, wasn't getting the football as much, and I don't really fault them for that. There wasn't much opportunity. They had Keaton Mitchell, and you can't, as much as we'd all love to see it, it can't be Derrick Henry 50 times in the first half. No, you're going to have to stretch it out with the game. Give him important carries. Let him do, more of the heavy lifting in the second half as teams get tired of tackling him, and that's what it was. And there were only 11 carries, but it was 100 yards. And we did have 3 explosives in the second half, 2 in the first possession, of the third quarter. He has 2 20-plus yard runs, and then 1 a little bit later. It was good to see. Did not end up scoring a touchdown, but he was good on the ground. Very strong performance from Derrick Henry. So you love to see that. I mean, they needed this from him because, again, you only threw the football 12 times. Now, if Derrick Henry wasn't getting those explosives, there would have been a few more passes, and I would bet that they would have delivered against a bad Bengals defense. But we didn't see that just, 2 weeks ago on Thanksgiving. We didn't see it against the Steelers until later in the game when they got a little better. I will say it's early, and he hasn't been perfect, but Lamar Jackson is starting to look a little bit better. He's playing better football. Not as good as we know, because Lamar Jackson, again, when we saw him last season, best quarterback in the NFL. But he is looking a little bit smoother throwing the football, and he's getting more and more comfortable. And the misses haven't been as bad. The one to Andrews today, as I mentioned, was tough. There was one to Zay. And the one adjustment, that's another thing. We talked about Zay earlier, redeeming himself with the touchdown. But the adjustment on the big catch to take a shot in the head and hold on to the football, and it was a clear catch. It wasn't, you didn't even need to review it. Shout out to him coming off of a tough drop that turned into an interception. To catch that football when you're taking a shot to the head, of course, there's no flag. It was a pretty clear elbow to the head. In today's game, usually they're throwing a flag for that, but again, ultimately they didn't. It is what it is. But Zay being able to catch that football was in a big spot where he did. It was that drive that resulted in a touchdown with Zay. Shout out to him, because that's, again, not just him, but as a team, when it rains, it pours. And that's how it's been all year. When one guy's making a mistake, others are. When one unit is making a mistake, others are. And they haven't been able to redeem things and figure it out and improve. Today they did just that. So we got to give credit where it's due. Credit the coaching staff, credit the players. Hopefully Lamar Jackson can continue to build, because against New England, their run defense is pretty damn good. They're going to have to get it going in the air a little bit, and I think they will. I really do. I think that New England will be the team they beat. If they lose, it'll be Green Bay, because playing at Lambeau at this point in the year When I saw that schedule, I didn't think that this game would be this important, but here we are. The NFL clearly thinks the Ravens are in a good spot. You flex 2 games, you're forcing them to play in primetime twice. But when you have the dogs that the Ravens have, when you have a backfield with Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry, when you have guys on the defense like Marlon Humphrey, Roquan Smith, Kyle Hamilton, the highest paid safety in NFL history, you got to welcome some of these primetime games. And a lot of fans had complained that they wanted more primetime games, and now we're going to get them. Now, that was earlier in the year before things kind of went south and not as many people are as excited for these, but I am. And maybe I'm buying in too early, but this is a better football team than their record if the defense can play this way. I don't want to be a prisoner of the moment and overreact to a defense that I didn't think was this good. But maybe Tavius Robinson brings a little bit more that we haven't seen. Maybe our Darius Washington in some limited snaps forces Alohi Gilman to kind of know that there's somebody right behind him that can take his spot. And he does have to be a little bit more, on point. Because he was that. He finished tackles today. He was punching at the football. He was forcing incompletions. Something we just have not seen from the defense as a whole unit. It's not just him. It's the defense as a whole unit, but that has been the one area for Alohi Gilman. Played well today, had a combined 8 tackles. Do have to hit a break here. We want to continue to take your phone calls, 410-583-1057. But next, we will go inside the numbers with Mike Popovic, as we always do, the host of the overtime portion of the Baltimore Game Day and Sensor postgame show. So that's coming up next here. We are joined by Mike Popovic, and we'll go inside some numbers.
Continues all month long at Laurel Park. Join us on December 20th for the Christmastide Stakes, featuring 4 competitive races and $400,000 in prize money. Close out the year on Saturday, December 27th, with another exciting day of stakes racing. Then ring in 2026 with opening day on Friday, January 9th at America's home for horse racing. First race starts at noon. Get all the details at laurelpark.com. Laurel Park. Watch, play, win.
With us today is Dr. Scott Adams from Orthopedic Associates of Central Maryland. And Dr. Adams, as our in-house game day injury expert, we were wondering if you could help our parents with their young future sports stars. Now, soreness is normal, but is there a way to explain how to know when that pain is something more?
Sure, bumps and bruises are clearly not a serious injury in sports, but something like swelling in the joint. I often tell patients that's the equivalent of the check engine light being on in the joint. This can sometimes mean that there's something more serious, such as a ligament injury, a bone injury in the knee, a meniscus injury. Oftentimes this is more indicative of some kind of more structural problem. This is when you really should consider seeking out evaluation by an orthopedic doctor or primary care doctor to see if it is something more serious.
If you or anyone in your family needs help with a suspected orthopedic injury, please visit mdbonedocs.com. We're ready to help.
Xfinity is the network you can rely on, like a close friend who never lies. The friend who will tell you that new haircut, it's not great. Friends make sure friends get good haircuts. And Xfinity makes sure you get a good deal on Wi-Fi. Xfinity gives you reliable fiber-powered Wi-Fi at our best price. This holiday season through December 21st, get gig speed Wi-Fi for just $50 a month for 5 whole years. No strings, no commitments. Just super fast, reliable gig speed Wi-Fi with our best equipment and unlimited data included. Save yourself from questionable decisions and save over Verizon and AT&T. Xfinity. Imagine that. Restrictions apply. Requires paperless billing and auto pay with stored bank account. Taxes and fees extra. Xfinity Internet powered by fiber and connected to premises by coaxial cable. Actual speeds vary.
Christmas time has arrived here in Harford County, and with it comes all the things we love most. Family traditions, twinkling lights, and the simple joy of being together. Hi, I'm Katie, General Manager here at Plaza Ford, where my family has proudly served this community for over 90 years. This season has a way of bringing us back to what matters. The drives to school concerts, candlelight services, and those cozy visits with family and friends. For generations, Ford has been part of those journeys. Dependable, familiar, and ready for whatever December puts on the road. Or the skies. Who's to say Santa's sleigh is not a Ford? I bet there's a blue oval on that red chassis somewhere. And he's got to be driving an F-Series pickup in the North Pole, right? Anyway, during this Christmas season, our whole Plaza Ford team is here to help check off your wish list. Because if the present you've had your eye on happens to come with keys, we've got festive deals to help put it in your driveway. We're always happy to see you at our Plaza Ford showroom on Route 1 in Bel Air, right next to the Falston Walmart. And our inventory is always available at plazaford.com.
Bank of America is the nation's leading business lender, and we're ready to help with your next goal here in Greater Maryland. That's why we have over 3,700 local business specialists across the country. Because with the right team, your business and community prosper. What would you like the power to do? Learn more at bankofamerica.com/local business. Bank of America, official bank of FIFA World Cup 2026. Bank of America Corporation, all rights reserved.
From the Thompson Creek Window Company Studios, one window replacement company that does it all. This is WJZ-FM, Catonsville, Baltimore's sports talk at 105.7 The Fan, and always live on the free Odyssey app. Numbers don't lie. Brought to you by Dubo Law. Real people, real results. Call 410-ASK-DUBO for a free consultation.
We didn't really discuss the fact like they have 0 points. Let's keep. I think we just wanted to attack. We knew we had them on their heels. Just by how they were calling it, how they looked, their demeanor, and they didn't feel lively to me. And I feel like we just wanted to attack them. I thought we did that.
Draymond Jones there talking about holding the Bengals to just 0 points. And now, as always, we will be joined here by Mike Popovic, the host of the overtime portion of the Baltimore Game Day Uncensored postgame show. Mike, let's get right to that. It's been a shocking year as a whole, to be quite honest with you. Nobody expected any of this, but this team, as soon as you kind of get away from them and don't believe in them, the defense comes out and holds a team that just dominated them 2 weeks ago to 0 points. What'd you think of this performance from the Ravens?
Yeah, Ben, I made mention during the overtime portion last week. I said, I just don't know what team we're going to get. And, when you look at this Bengals game, right, compared to Thanksgiving night, it's a complete 180, or even compared certainly defensively to last week. Very surprising. I know you've asked me repeatedly about, hey, is this pass rush ever going to get better? Well, today it did. As the game went on, it certainly got a lot better. And Draymond Jones certainly led the way. Van Noy had that big play late in the game that he deked rushing, the guard engaged, and then Tavius Robinson was able to get by him and put pressure on Burrow. And then you had the Van Noy interception as he then dropped back into coverage and then, lateraled it, or actually gave it to Alohi Gilman. And that was, to me, too, Ben, that was an old school Ravens defensive play. You go back to 2000 or 03 or 06 or 08 or some of those great defenses of yesteryear. That was the type of Ravens defensive play that I'm used to seeing over the years. But, hey, that pass rush got better as the game went on. And Ben, it's amazing when you get a pass rush, what good things can happen. I give them a lot of credit for not letting Jamar Chase eat them up all over the place. Despite what his numbers say today, he did not dominate that game. And when you look at yards per pass, and I realize in the Thanksgiving game, surprisingly enough, the Bengals in that game only averaged 5.5 yards per pass, which seems a bit perplexing to me. It seemed more than that. But in this one today, Ben, yards per pass for Cincinnati, 4.7. And how about for the Ravens? While, again, it was an old-school Ravens offensive win, run the football, make enough plays in the passing game, they averaged 8 yards per pass. So when you dig into the numbers there, those two really stand out. But great job by the defensive pass rush, especially in that second half.
Yeah, and sticking with the defensive pass rush, I talked about it a little bit earlier. There was a different swagger, like more trash talk, more physicality from them. And I just wonder, bringing back Tavius Robinson, and we know the motor. He's never been, the dominant guy, but he has a motor, and they've always talked high about him. And they talked extremely high about him during, the preseason and training camp and all of those things before he did get hurt. What type of impact did you see from Tavius Robinson in his return?
Yeah, I mean, he certainly was out there making plays. He was in, we just talked about the one late in the game that Van Noy assisted on, but he was in on several others as well. And I agree, he today brought an element of his game that we have not seen much of because he's not been that pass rusher. He's been, I think, fairly decently a run stopper in maintaining the edge, holding the edge up, but he was thought to be a guy that, potentially could add some pass rush, and we saw that today. I think certainly Draymond Jones stands out But Robinson today was in on a number of plays. And I agree about the swagger, the physicality, that end of things. There's no doubt we saw that today. And again, it begs the question, where is this at other times here this season? And this defense too, Ben, I know all the stats look good, when you go back to prior to last week's game, for instance, getting to the press box, they've got printouts there and they show all the great stats about this defense since week 6, how much better it's gotten. But yet, you had the Thanksgiving night game against Cincinnati where they didn't look that great. You had the Steelers game where Aaron Rodgers hit on 4 big plays, and then they hit enough underneath, and there was no pass rush, and Rodgers runs for a touchdown, and we almost win that game still, but it's not what it should be. So I think we saw some regression the last couple of weeks, but today that looked like maybe the best defensive performance, frankly, all season, and again, reminiscent of yesteryear Ravens defenses. Boy, if they can bottle that up for the next several weeks, that would be huge.
For sure. And one more thing on the defense, the return of Ardarius Washington, and he was out there a few plays, not much, but it felt like Alohi Gilman, something changed. Alohi Gilman's been around the football a lot, and he's been able to get there. He's a heady football player, but tackling has been an issue. We've seen him struggle with missed tackles. All of a sudden today, that wasn't an issue. He was coming up. He was aggressive, physical football, like I said, with what Tavius Robinson brings. Like, could maybe Ardarius now kind of being right behind you and you knowing that you could be replaced if you struggle a little bit, could that have been maybe one of the reasons we saw a little bit better from from Alohi Gilman?
Yeah, but, potentially that added a pep to his step. I could see what you're saying with that. Obviously, though, they brought him in because it was a need. So I don't think he should be too concerned about him going anywhere. But sure, in terms of playing time, it could be reduced. There was the one play in the backfield where he had the running back. I don't remember which one it was. And, instead of -2, it ended up being +2. But you did see, to your point, some good tackles and physicality from him. That very well could be. Competition certainly brings out the best in all of us there. And I tell you one thing, though, that I think is important with Ardarius coming back is that, look, Kyle Hamilton, I know we talked about with Gilman being inserted in the lineup at a safety position, allowing Hamilton at his safety position to be that Swiss Army knife. But I got to tell you, putting him in the box is certainly can be very effective against the run and blitzing. But I think we do have to be careful with Hamilton because we've seen him leave the field at times, get banged up. I think they need to be careful about how much they use him in the box. So to that end, and Washington's not a big guy either, but he is physical and gets the most out of his body. So I think with Washington being in the lineup, adding that depth, hopefully that will give the Ravens a little bit of an opportunity to maybe spare at times Kyle Hamilton up in the box. Because I do think, and Mike Preston's brought this up, I think they need to be a little bit more careful about how much they play him in the box and how much he's got to play to run and be so physical, because you want him to be healthy and also be able to play some pass coverage back there as well.
Yeah, for sure. And another thing, watching the game with my dad, like sitting there in the first 20 plays of the game, it felt like Hamilton's in the box. It felt like he hadn't left. And as it gets colder, they're definitely going to have to be a little bit more careful with that. But you talked about the passing efficiency, and I talked about it a lot. Like, you look at the stat sheet, and it's 8 completions, 12 attempts, 2 touchdowns, 150 yards. Doesn't look like a lot, but it felt like every completion Lamar Jackson had was efficient and meant something. It was in a big spot where they needed it, or it was just a touchdown or something like that. So what'd you think of the passing offense? Again, 8 completions is not a lot. It just felt like a lot of efficiency.
Yeah, I know. I think you hit it on the head. It's making the plays at the necessary times. Obviously, against the blitz, they had the right play, and whether he checked into that or not, I'm not sure. It looks like he may have with the touchdown pass to Ali, but he put the ball in the money to Flowers. He should have had another touchdown pass caught by Flowers that was in his hand. Jay, he had to adjust his body a little bit, but Lamar was slightly scrambling in the pocket there to throw that football. It was still definitely a catchable ball and in his hands. So he should have had another touchdown there, and I think he had another drop. But that's the thing. And look, when you're not having, when Lamar doesn't have to shoulder the entire load, and that's the thing today, he ran a little bit, but when you have the effectiveness, and again, it seemed more so in the second half than the first half, but when you have the effectiveness in Henry and Mitchell, and then you only have to use his legs sparingly, and then when you do throw the football, hopefully because of the run, it can be more effective off of play action or even to the shotgun for that matter, if you're doing a little fake there. But no, I think you hit it on the head. Efficiency is big. And this Cincinnati team, this defense, and I think just in general, this is what I think the Ravens certainly need to do. This is the game plan for them. They're still a running football team. And what Monken and his hiring was to do is that when the Ravens need to throw the football, they have A, a better scheme, but B, they can be more effective when they do throw the football. And I think that was the whole point of making an upgraded OC there. But this is still first and foremost a running football team. So, yeah, 12 passes is a bit low, obviously. But that said, it's a good formula, though, generally to beating teams and the way this offense still ultimately is built. And, look, I've said this before, and I know Walker was active today, but he's been active some weeks, inactive, the half of the year, is that I still kind of think a wide receiver we could use, a big-time down-the-field, vertical, consistent guy there. And, Hopkins is good in spots, but, he's aging. He's not the long-term answer. Yeah, Flowers can get deep, but he's more of your intermediary guy. So whether it's Walker or somebody else, that's kind of an aside. But anyway, it was good to see that when they needed it, the passing game hit. And again, that kind of reminds you of Ravens teams of yesteryear with Flacco, where it was the run game, but he made plays when he needed to.
To get to the rushing offense, now, coming into this one with how Cincinnati has been against the run, we all knew that Derrick Henry had to get a lot of touches, and everybody was saying how much they expected. 11 carries for 100 yards. Now, at halftime, it was nothing close to that. Of course, he had the 3 explosives in the second half. And then Keaton Mitchell, 8 for 66. I know one of the carries was on the final drive when Snoop Huntley was in, but he did have a few good ones before that. What'd you think of the rushing offense, and can we continue to build off of this two-headed monster between the heavy back and Derrick Henry, who, of course, can get the explosives, which we've seen, and continuing to use Keaton Mitchell 7 to 8 times a game on the ground?
Yeah, I mean, I think they need to. Now, the defenses they're going to be playing are going to be better in the Patriots, most certainly, although, they gave up points today to Buffalo, but Buffalo's I'd say a better offense than ours is, at least this season. But the defense is going to be better. Green Bay, we've shown the proficiency of being able to run the football against Pittsburgh, and who knows with T.J. Watt's situation, he may be out until the playoffs, if they make the playoffs for that matter. We'll have to see. So that's one less guy to have to worry about there. But yeah, I do think they can. I think Ben, it's just a matter of, and I thought the O-line got a good push today. I thought they had one of their better games there, and they really got Henry going again, especially in the second half. I think that the time of possession, though, because you point out the few number of carries, though, although very efficient, I think 9 yards per carry, but the time of possession heavily favored Cincinnati. So that may have played in part as to why we just didn't have as many, plays to run, which would have given him more carries in the game, and Mitchell. But I do think that's the way to go. I just think that the way they have to do it, and you saw Lamar get under center more, and I still believe that getting under center, running more heavy formations, and having Henry run out of the eye, I still think that that's the way to go. Mixing in Mitchell, but also being as creative as you can, even in helping Henry run the football, whether that's faking jet sweeps to Zay Flowers one way, et cetera, mixing that up to help him out a little bit instead of it just being obvious that, hey, he's coming right straight at you right up the middle.
Yeah, one more thing for you. Just in totality, is this just kind of where Cincinnati is? Are you buying this team with where they are right now? Do you believe that they can rattle off 3 straight wins against, 3 playoff opponents as we speak? Can the defense continue to build off of this?
For me, I'll be very honestly, I'm not sure that they can. That doesn't mean that they can't win a few games here, but to run the rest of it through like that without getting some help, I can't say that this team has shown me enough consistency to do it. They did show, though, a 5-game winning streak, but that was after going 1-5. And they had this 2-game losing streak in the division, and that really hurts. So if they do end up having to win out, do I think they can do that? I'm not sure that they can, and I would lean to say that they can. But defensively, to your point, I think they can, build on this for sure. But they're not going to shut teams out. But I do think that they can play and keep this team in the game against the Patriots and the Packers and the Steelers. And I know how good the Packers offense is, but I do think that they can keep the offense in the game over these next 3 games. I do believe they can do that enough. But to me, the question will be then obviously offensively, how they go forward here, because that offensive line has been probably the biggest issue ahead of our lack of pass rush this season.
Mike, thank you for taking the time to join us here. Looking forward to listening to your portion, the overtime portion of the Baltimore Game Day Uncensored postgame show.
Ben, thanks so much. Appreciate it.
Coming up next here, we will go around the NFL. A lot of pretty important games going on right now in the NFL and standings. The division today, only one other game because, of course, the Steelers play Monday night. And we'll go around the AFC. The Bills get a big divisional win over the Patriots. That's coming up next here on the Baltimore Game Day Uncensored postgame show.
On the field, a hit can change the game. In life, it can change everything in the blink of an eye. I'm Neil Dubovsky, founder of Dubo Law. We help you get back on your feet with no trick plays and no penalties, just real results. When you've been hurt in an accident, call 410-ASK-DUBO for a free consultation. That's 410-ASK-DUBO for your free consultation.
The season of giving is here, and so are the biggest holiday trade-in bonuses at Superior Motor Company, where your current vehicle is worth more, whether you're ready to upgrade to a lifted truck, a reliable family SUV, or a sleek electric ride. Now is the perfect time to turn your trade-in into holiday cash and major savings. We'll pay off your loan even if you're upside down, so ask for details. 4.9% APR available on select vehicles, free Carfax on every vehicle. Make this Christmas unforgettable. Turn your trade-in into extra holiday cash and drive home the vehicle you've been wishing for. SuperiorMotorCompany.com.
250 years ago, a promise was made to connect families and friends near and far. And during the holidays, that promise is more important than ever. That's why USPS is building a better network to meet your needs, with timely deliveries, easy and affordable ways to ship, and everything you need to make your season full of holiday cheer. Our purpose is delivering your peace of mind, knowing your love will arrive, bringing joy to all. The United States Postal Service. Learn more at USPS.com/holidays.
Xfinity is the network you can rely on, like a close friend who never lies. The friend who will tell you that new haircut, it's not great. Friends make sure friends get good haircuts. And Xfinity makes sure you get a good deal on Wi-Fi. Xfinity gives you reliable fiber-powered Wi-Fi at our best price. This holiday season through December 21st, get gig speed Wi-Fi for just $50 a month for 5 whole years. No strings, no commitments. Just super fast, reliable gig speed Wi-Fi with our best equipment and unlimited data included. Save yourself from questionable decisions and save over Verizon and AT&T. Xfinity. Imagine that. Restrictions apply. Requires paperless billing and auto pay with stored bank account. Taxes and fees extra. Xfinity Internet powered by fiber and connected to premises by coaxial cable. Actual speeds vary.
Dietz & Watson's been making meats and cheeses the right way since forever. What's that mean? It means never cutting corners, ever. It means cooking, not processing. It means our Virginia brand ham that's cooked to perfection, then twice baked to layer the flavors. It takes more time, but you can taste the difference. We come to work every day to do it the right way, even if it's the hard way. Because if it's not right for us, it's not right for you. Dietz & Watson, it's a family thing since 1939.
Rumor has it there's a new side dish this fall season that's sweeter than your mom's sweet potato souffle. You can now earn Upside cash back at Giant. That's right. You can get up to $15 cash back on every Giant run at more than 100 stores in D.C., Maryland, Virginia, and Delaware. Whether you're shopping for the entire holiday menu or just picking up some last-minute items and find some peace and quiet while you're at it, you'll get Upside cash back on every Giant run. It's a pretty big deal.
Download the free Upside app and start earning today. Use promo code CHARM12 to get a $10 bonus on your first grocery purchase at Giant. That's promo code CHARM12 to get a $10 bonus at Giant. Use promo code CHARM12. Giant is now on Upside. That's a pretty big deal.
Offers vary by user and location at participating merchants. Go to upside.com for terms and conditions.
Touchdown!
Down! This football season, get the best deal in town. The Turtle Trio for $15.99 and $2 off personal pictures. Only at the Green Turtle.
Around the NFL is sponsored by the law offices of Michael A. Friedman, serving the community for over 40 years. Call them today at 410-363-6848 or email them from maflaw.com for a free consultation.
Yes, we will go around the NFL now here on the Baltimore Game Day Uncensored post-game show. And a very weird week. We'll start with the Chiefs-Chargers game. Chargers take down the Chiefs 16-13. But the biggest news from that game is Patrick Mahomes going down with an injury. Looked like a knee injury. Basically, unfortunate day for them as a whole. They were eliminated from playoff contention after that loss, but now Mahomes is hurt, and I've yet to see, what the outcome is fully with the injury, but it looked like it was a leg injury. That occurred, right as we were going live here, so interested to hear kind of what's going on there. But the Chiefs are eliminated from the playoffs, shockingly. For a while, we've been talking about them as the team and the team to beat. And still, up until this week, I was considering them the team to beat in the AFC. First, because I don't know that there's a true dog in the AFC. I don't know who to buy in. It's either Denver or New England. I think both of those teams have their flaws. But ultimately, the second reason for this is that was the team who just won the AFC. And last year, when we all counted them out, they still were able to make it to the Super Bowl. And that was an embarrassing showing against Philadelphia, but a lot of teams had those ugly showings against that team. I'm a really good Philly team, and they showed kind of what you need to do to beat that team. Hopefully, we could see some of those constructions. It's a lot in the trenches. But now, there's people starting to count Kansas City out. I am certainly not doing that yet. I do think Kelsey's time might be to an end. Could he retire? I don't know. It'll be interesting to see, but he had a bounce-back performance, did have 7 catches for 70 yards. That team will be right back in the mix next year. And covering it from a Ravens standpoint, until there are multiple times that we showed that, you can handle them, I won't buy it. Because even this year, in a down year for the Chiefs, when the Ravens were relatively healthy, the Chiefs dominated the Ravens, and Lamar goes down. But even before Lamar went down and Roquan went down, it was an ugly performance from the Ravens. So the Chiefs eliminated for now in the AFC, but next year, it's a good thing we don't have to worry about them. Hopefully, the Ravens can win 3 straight and get in. But if they lose next week, the Ravens are going to be on the ropes and ultimately could be finding out that they're out in the playoffs as well. The Bills, we said we'll get into that one. The Bills come back down 21 points to the Patriots. They were down 24-7 at halftime, down 17. Come out, immediately score a touchdown in the second half to start the third quarter. Outscore the Patriots 14-0 in the third quarter. And then in the fourth quarter, were able to score a late touchdown. James Cook had a fine showing. Travion Henderson, very efficient. 14 carries, 148 yards, 2 touchdowns. Josh Allen wasn't great throwing the football. But we talk about efficiency with Lamar. Josh Allen only completed 19 passes, but did throw for 3 touchdowns. The Bills were able to get a much-needed win. Now they're just 1 game behind the Patriots in a tough divisional race. The Ravens could be able to do the Bills some favors next weekend if they can take down the Patriots in what should be a very, very, very exciting game. There have been some ugly primetime games for the Ravens. There's no way around it. I mean, Thanksgiving was ugly. We all had to experience that. We saw it. It was not fun. The Detroit game at home was fine, right? It was a 1-score game, and there were a few plays that could have completely changed the game. Buffalo week 1, that was just no comment really there. That just wasn't pretty. But again, ultimately, there have been a few primetime games earlier in the year. Miami was fun because, of course, they dominated in that one 28-6. Hopefully here, the guys will be ready to play again. And I know Lohi Gilman, which we'll get to in the final segment, had said, they were frustrated about that Thanksgiving matchup. And it showed. This was not the Ravens team we had seen all year. It just wasn't. There's no way you could watch what you saw today and tell me you expected it. Now, I expected a win, but I thought it would be by 3 points. And even if there was a dominant win, if I would have expected it was Lamar Jackson figuring things out and the offense just dominating a bad Bengals defense, and the defense kind of, holding serve, maybe allowing 13 to 20 points. No, they shut the Bengals offense out. And things are going to get kind of ugly in Cincinnati, right? This comes the week after Joe Burrow was very interesting when speaking to the media. Post-game today, he said it had nothing to do with Cincinnati. It was about football as a whole. This is a guy that's dealt with a lot of injuries. And at his best, Joe Burrow is a top 4 quarterback in the NFL. He's in the division. You root against them. Joe Burrow is a dog. He just is. I'll be honest. Joe Burrow is one of those dogs. He came back for this, right? Team was what? 3-8 when he came back? The playoff picture was, slightly open, but they probably weren't going to make it. Joe Burrow wants to play. He knows what he's being paid for. So I respect Joe Burrow, but the future in Cincinnati or playing football, I don't know. I'm not fully buying that maybe he'll be done, but those comments, it's different from what we got in the offseason when he was playing GM and saying, all of these guys need to get paid and all of these things. All of a sudden now he's he's not speaking highly. He's not having fun. He's talking about the injuries that he's dealt with. And it's every year. It really is. For a while, everybody was talking about all these injuries Lamar Jackson deals with. And football is a physical sport. This isn't me, criticizing Joe Burrow. This is a physical sport. These guys put a lot of heart into it, and it's grown men hitting you. It happens. But Joe Burrow has dealt with a lot of injuries. It's wearing on his career, and it's another year they missed the playoffs. Right? Last year we saw it. They got hot late, and they just couldn't turn it around. I don't know. You can't feel good being a Bengals fan right now, and I don't know when things are going to change, especially with that defense. The offense will probably figure itself out. Next year, they're not going to lose 10 games probably, but I don't know that they're getting the dogs defensively. Could they hit a home run in the first and second round? They're not 2 pieces away on that defense. The secondary is garbage. The linebacker core is garbage, and the defensive line, they've tried to hit on some of those draft picks and just haven't been able to. So I don't know. Cincinnati is in a really tough spot. And again, you're always going to be in a tough division with the Ravens, the Steelers, who never go away, who they battle with, but the Steelers never go away, and Cleveland, who they seem to always have issues beating. And it's usually early on in the year. They start season slow a lot. So very interesting comments from Joe Burrow. We'll be interested to see how that goes. Houston dominates Arizona 40-20. The Texans are really starting to pick up. This Texans team is legit. Their defense is awesome. C.J. Stroud is healthy, which is crucial for that offense. And even when he was healthy earlier in the year, he wasn't playing great football. Right now, he's playing good football. He's doing what he needs to. Woody Marks is banged up. I'll be interested to see, how that ends, because Woody Marks every single week has been banged up. The team down the road, the Washington Commanders, the Commandos, were able to beat the Giants 29-21 in a thriller. If you watched that game, sorry for you. Maybe it was on Red Zone when you had it on, but neither of those teams have much of a shot. And again, maybe you like the Ravens or the Commanders. If you do, sorry that both teams' seasons haven't gone the way you expected. Both of these teams in the area were NFC champion, and the Ravens were 2 or 3 plays away from making the AFC championship. Ultimately, the Philly blew the Commanders out of the water. It was an ugly NFC championship, and it started on the first play when Saquon runs for 80 yards, and it was just a dominant game. But no, the Commanders, they were able to beat the Giants 29-21. Right now, a bunch of games going on. San Francisco playing Tennessee. San Francisco was up in that one early. Still in the first half there. 14-10. Brock Purdy has been pretty good throwing the football, and kind of expect that against a bad Tennessee team. That's a San Francisco football team who's still competing, trying to make the playoffs. A very exciting one here in Denver versus Green Bay. Green Bay currently has the ball. 4 minutes, 30 seconds left. They are inside the 5-yard line, trying to punch one in. It'll be interesting to see what they can do here. The offense had some success, but relied on a lot of field goals so far, and they are down 1 point. The game that we had to make sure that we mentioned, they just couldn't get past it without it. Seattle hosting the Indianapolis Colts. Phillip Rivers, grandfather, he does have a grandchild. He is playing quarterback. They brought him out of retirement, hadn't played since the COVID year, 44 years old. Phillip Rivers is 5 for 11, 42 yards, and he's taken just one sack. And if it's a sack that I saw, he was kind of running around. It's funny. He kind of curled down, rolled over. I think that was the one sack that they do have. I'll be honest, I was concerned for this guy today. I really was. Mike McDonald, we know the history that he had in Baltimore, how dominant these defenses were, the pressure that they put on. I didn't know that Phil was going to make it out of this game healthy. And it's not me trying to be funny. Like, the guy's 44 years old, playing against a physical defense like Seattle. I don't know that this was the week to, hey, Phil, let's get you back. But for them, they're up 6-3 right now. Sam Darnold is, not doing much. The running offense isn't doing much. If the Colts can win, hey, you made the right decision. But 44 years old, playing against that defense with that front, how dominant they've been. Shout out to Rivers, man. A lot of respect for that guy coming out of retirement at 44 to try to help a franchise that he spent the last, 1 year of his career with. And he's been out of football for so long. I mean, you could tell. And you looked at him, you're like, oh, I don't know that he's ready to play. The fact that he's completed 5 passes, tells you enough. Clearly, he knows what he's doing. 410-583-1057 is the number to call. We will continue to take your calls. Coming up next here, we will get to You Betcha. We'll break down some of the lines from this game. What did we hit on? What did we miss? And we'll look to Sunday Night Football, a few of our best bets in that one. That's coming up next here on the Baltimore Game Day Uncensored postgame show.
If the billboard said, I want to buy your house for less than it's really worth, who would take that offer? If the text and email said, I'll buy your home for 70% of what you could sell it for, who would be interested? Most of those cash offers just aren't worth it. Instead, you should speak with my buddy Lee Tessier of eXp Realty. Unlike those offers, Lee's honest. He makes a cash offer too, but he's willing to do what so many others aren't. Make your offer for your home's fair market value. Taking one of those cash offers comes with a lot of convenience. You can sell your home as is or move on a timeline that works for you. Lee makes home selling just as easy and stress-free, but he'll actually pay you what your home is worth. If you want to see what the other companies will offer, go for it. Give Lee a chance to beat the other cash offers. Since his is for fair market value, I'm confident that he will. Call the old agent I qualified to sell my home. That man's my buddy Lee Tessier. Just give him a call at 410-638-9555 or go to LeeTessier.com. And when you call Lee, I'll just start packing.
If you're selling your home, don't make it hard. Just call Lee Tessier.
Hey, football fans, picture this. You bet on your favorite player to score the first touchdown in the game, but his teammate scores instead. If this happens, BetMGM wants to give you another chance at the end zone. With BetMGM's second chance promotion, you'll get your stake back if your first touchdown scores second instead. That's right. Bet on any pro football player to score the first touchdown of the game. If you're right, you win. If your player scores second, you get your stake back in cash. With BetMGM's second chance offer, you have a chance to keep the fun going after the first player crosses the goal line. Try a first TD score wager with confidence today. BetMGM. Make it legendary. BetMGM and GameSense remind you to play responsibly. See BetMGM.com for terms. 21 plus only. Maryland only. Existing customer offer. Subject to eligibility requirements. Rewards paid back in unrestricted withdrawable funds. Please play responsibly. For help, visit mdgamblinghelp.org or call 1-800-GAMBLER in partnership with MGM National Harbor.
Diabetes, high blood pressure, anxiety meds, everyone's on them. If you're a 50-year-old male, maybe a bit porky, and you may even have type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term insurance may only cost you about $200 a month. Call Term Provider. Speak with Big Lou at 800-830-4914. Big Lou will find a term life policy for you even if you have type 2 diabetes, are overweight, or have high blood pressure. Term Provider has helped thousands of people like you who think they can't afford term life insurance. To buy $1 million of affordable term life for you, all you need to do is call Big Lou at 800-830-4914. Lou will make sure the scales are tipped in your favor. Call 800-830-4914. Big Lou will answer your call and work to fit you into a term life policy that you can afford. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds too. Call 800-830-4914. That's 800-830-4914.
Rumor has it there's a new side dish this fall season that's sweeter than your mom's sweet potato souffle. You can now earn Upside cash back at Giant. That's right. You can get up to $15 cash back on every Giant run at more than 100 stores in D.C., Maryland, Virginia, and Delaware. Whether you're shopping for the entire holiday menu or just picking up some last-minute items and find some peace and quiet while you're at it, you'll get upside cash back on every Giant run. It's a pretty big deal.
Download the free Upside app and start earning today. Use promo code CHARM12 to get a $10 bonus on your first grocery purchase at Giant. That's promo code CHARM12 to get a $10 bonus at Giant. Use promo code CHARM12.
Giant is now on Upside. That's a pretty big deal.
Offers vary by user and location at participating merchants. Go to upside.com for terms and conditions.
Hey, Ravens flock, we've got a deal that will make you flock to your nearest McDonald's. If our opponent misses a field goal during any home or away game, then you get a free 6-piece Chicken McNuggets with minimum $1 purchase the next day in the McDonald's app. And if our opponent misses 2 field goals, you're upgraded to a free 10-piece. What's good for the Ravens is good for the flock, right? Download the McDonald's app to redeem this deal. And that's not all. Save money when you order in the app. Offer valid at participating McDonald's. Valid one time per day. Visit McDonald's app for details. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
Dan owed an unbelievable amount of money to the IRS.
I got behind on my taxes. It's a horrible feeling.
He was in denial.
And when I got those letters from the IRS, you wanted to act like they didn't exist.
Finally, Dan turned to Optima Tax Relief, the leading tax resolution firm. A-plus rated by the Better Business Bureau, they've resolved over $1 billion for their clients.
Optima got me a settlement with the IRS. These people are really people-friendly. It was every bit of a new lease on life for me.
The fast action and the great results made Dan's head spin.
I felt like I was in a dream, but it's real, and I have paperwork to prove it. They got the job done, and life is good.
For tax help you can trust, call Optima now for a free consultation.
If you're worried about what's going to happen with the IRS, stop worrying. Make the call now.
Call 800-798-4399. 800-798-4399. 800-798-4399. Optima Tax Relief. Testimonial from an actual client. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
You betcha.
Yes, you betcha, as we always do a little bit later in the show. Break down some of the betting lines and the outcomes. Here we did have Ravens were a slight favorite, right? 3.5, 4.5, depending on where you looked. And that wasn't even a sweat, right? If you got it early in the week, you would have got their money line at a fair price. The under also cashed big time. And when these teams match up, it's pretty regular to expect an over, right? Even last year, when the Ravens were able to beat the Bengals in both games, they were super high scoring and both went over the number. And a lot throughout the history has been. And also, did want to give a shout out Pigtown Sports. See, he's tuned in. Great follow if you guys don't for Oriole stuff. He's very on top of all that. But he mentioned Lamar 7-2 versus Burrow now. There is a thing like Joe Burrow has not been able to beat the Ravens. Now, he's had success. Like, if you look at his numbers, he's been able to pick them apart a little bit, find ways to beat them with the pass, but ultimately the Ravens have ended up winning the game. The outcomes, though, have not gone their way. And a lot of that is just because of how bad this Bengals defense is. It's just what it is. Like, when you put all of this money into the offense and you continue to pay multiple wide receivers and pay Mike Gesicki more money than he probably should get because your quarterback kind of told you, you got to do it if you want to keep me and keep me happy, that was where you're going to be at. You have to be damn good in the draft if you want to try to kind of make up for this, and they're not that good in the draft. They struggle. Amarius Mims, he's been better. Tackle, offensive tackle, he was suffering an injury today. Like, that hasn't been a home run draft pick. We all know the offseason that was this year for Stewart. That was a whole nother conversation. And then, like, they just have not been able. Hill, Justice Hill's brother, actually, they haven't really been awesome in the draft. And if you're going to, as I said, pay these guys that you're paying, you need more from the draft. They're just not getting that right now. And I don't know that anything is really going to change. I don't. And I said it before with Joe Burrow, pretty concerned about his future in Cincinnati. The comments that he's making are very, very odd. It's not something we see a lot, especially from him. But numbers, some of the player props for the Ravens. Lamar Jackson, over 1.5 touchdown passes, was right around -110. That cashed. He threw for 2. Derrick Henry, rushing yards, was 87.5. He rushes for 100. If you took that up to 100, you probably would have got plus money. A good play there. Keaton Mitchell, another week where Vegas misprices his line. It's been regular that we've seen here. Keaton Mitchell every week, he's anywhere from 15 to 20 yards on the ground as his number. And some people are making a lot of money playing alternate totals with him because if Keaton Mitchell is going to go over 17.5, there's going to be 1 or 2 explosives in there most likely. And today that was that. I mean, he had 66 rushing yards on just 8 carries. Kind of scares you because of the volume. You're only going to get, today he had 8. You're probably only going to get 6 at most in a tight game, but they should hopefully keep diving into Keaton Mitchell because him and Derrick Henry, the backfield that is, by the way, the Indianapolis Colts just went up 2 scores on the Seattle Seahawks, and Phillip Rivers is feeling it on the sideline. Grandpa Phil, I cannot believe this today. This guy it's unbelievable. Just threw a passing touchdown. Wow. Impressive. Shout out to Phillip Rivers. I cannot believe he's doing that. But the only receiver, Zay Flowers, 68 receiving yards, was able to get over his number slightly. His number was in the 60s. Everybody else, like I was on Mark Andrews. I gave that out on pregame. We also did give out Derrick Henry on pregame. I thought for sure it was going to be a big Mark Andrews day. He caught 2 catches, caught 2 passes for 18 yards. Isaiah Likely didn't have a catch. And this Bengals defense is allowing 125 to 130 yards per game to tight ends all season. And that's not one week where Travis Kelce had 200 and Noah Gray also added 50. No, this is a weekly thing. Last time the Ravens played them, we saw Isaiah Likely go for 94 or 98 yards, whatever it was. And then Mark Andrews also had like 46. Tight ends have had a lot of success against this Bengals offense or Bengals defense, but when you're only throwing the ball 12 times in a game and only 8 of those are completed, and 3 of them are to Flowers, like the tight ends just aren't going to do much. But again, a few of Mark's catches, the one 14-yard catch, these are big catches, efficient throws, and pretty important. So you can't complain when a team wins 24-0. Just kind of surprised that the tight end group as a whole, because we also had Charlie Kolar in there, combined for 2 catches for 18 yards, especially in a colder game. You thought it would be some simple throws, easy throws, let him get the ball to Andrews, likely let him make a few plays. But again, we didn't have that. And that was on the Ravens side. Cincinnati, nothing much. Chase Brown, right around his rushing total, was in the 50s. He finished with 53. Jamar Chase, 132 yards. When he plays the Ravens, the only game I remember the shutdown was that Brandon Stevens, the great year of Stevens in Baltimore, that Thursday night matchup, I think it was Sunday night. Yeah, I think it was Sunday night. Brandon Stevens had Jamar Chase on locks, and he was frustrated. I think that was the game where Burrow hurt his wrist, and on the sideline, it was the video of him not being able to throw the football. If I remember correctly, that was the only time that I can remember them shutting down Jamar Chase. It's been regular. And today, 10 catches, 132 yards. But I talked about it earlier. Like, the first play out of halftime was frustrating because it's like, how do you lose the best player on the football field? Didn't get that, but other than that, it's bulk. If you continue to target a guy, he's going to do this. And he's also pushing off. Of course, they don't call that, but when Zay Flowers does it on Thanksgiving, let's keep the Bengals playoff hopes alive. Don't even get me started on that because that still frustrates me. The push off there, and we've seen it pretty regularly. Jamar Chase does it on almost all of his routes. And then he's talking trash to Nate Wiggins. Whatever, dude. It is what it is. But coming up next here, we will wrap things up. We'll play a little bit more audio. I know we haven't gotten to enough yet on this show. We'll play some more audio and get things ready for the overtime portion with Mike Popovic of the Baltimore Game Day Uncensored Postgame Show.
Don't go anywhere. Overtime is coming up. Hi, it's Mike Popovic with more Ravens analysis. Your phone calls at NFL game updates of the late games and more here on Sports Radio 105.7 The Fan.
This is the story of the one. As the purchasing manager at a manufacturing plant, she knows the only thing more important than having the right safety gear is having it there when you need it. That's why she partners with Grainger for auto reordering, so her team members can count on her to have cut-resistant gloves on hand, and each shift can run safely and efficiently. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
It all comes down to this, folks.
Yep, the entire season is on the line.
But my throat has officially thrown in the towel.
Sounds like you need Vicks VapoCool drops. They're max strength and vaporize sore throat pain.
Whoa! These VapoCool drops hit fast.
Speaking of fast, did you just see that play?
Yeah, he vaporized that ball.
That pun should have come with a penalty.
Vaporize sore throat pain with Vicks VapoCool drops. Use as directed.
Rumor has it there's a new side dish this fall season that's sweeter than your mom's sweet potato souffle. You can now earn Upside cash back at Giant. That's right. You can get up to $15 cash back on every Giant run at more than 100 stores in D.C., Maryland, Virginia, and Delaware. Whether you're shopping for the entire holiday menu or just picking up some last-minute items and find some peace and quiet while you're at it, you'll get Upside cash back on every Giant run. It's a pretty big deal.
Download the free Upside app and start earning today. Use promo code CHARM12 to get a $10 bonus on your first grocery purchase at Giant. That's promo code CHARM12 to get a $10 bonus at Giant. Use promo code CHARM12. Giant is now on Upside. That's a pretty big deal.
Offers vary by user and location at participating merchants. Go to upside.com for terms and conditions.
Xfinity is the network you can rely on. Like a close friend who never lies. The friend who will tell you that new haircut, it's not great. Friends make sure friends get good haircuts. And Xfinity makes sure you get a good deal on Wi-Fi. Xfinity gives you reliable fiber-powered Wi-Fi at our best price. This holiday season through December 21st, get gig speed Wi-Fi for just $50 a month for 5 whole years. No strings, no commitments. Just super fast, reliable gig speed Wi-Fi with our best equipment and unlimited data included. Save yourself from questionable decisions and save over Verizon and AT&T. Xfinity. Imagine that. Restrictions apply. Requires paperless billing and auto pay with stored bank account. Taxes and fees extra. Xfinity Internet powered by fiber and connected to premises by coaxial cable. Actual speeds vary.
Bring some holiday cheer with the network that knows what you really want. Take your phone to your local Total Wireless store, and we'll give you one line for just $25 a month. Celebrate more for spending less. The holidays just got a lot better. Visit your neighborhood Total Wireless store. For new single-line customers who activate on a BYO device on the Total 5G Unlimited plan. Requires auto-pay enrollment to receive the full discount, which applies the month after enrollment. Available online and in Total Wireless retail stores. Requires a compatible unlocked device and SIM. Check compatibility at TotalWireless.com.
Quality is very important here at the North Pole. You see, I checked my list once, twice. All done.
Well, Santa, quality's important to us at Nissan, too. We actually test every model thousands of times. There's the frame twist test, shaker test, corrosion test, drive load test, tug-of-war test, towing test, off-roading test, practical strength test, splash test, corrugated road test, chassis dynamics test, water intrusion test, extreme heat test, extreme cold test, rough road test, jump test, curb impact test, and physical parts tests.
Save on J.D. Power's #1 mainstream brand in new vehicle quality at the Nissan year-end event. Get 0% APR on the 2026 Nissan Rogue, 2025 Murano or Pathfinder for well-qualified buyers. For J.D. Power 2025 U.S. Initial Quality Study Award information, visit jdpower.com/awards. Awards based on 2025 model year. Example, 0 down payment, 60 months financing at $1,667 per month per thousand financed. Actual down payment may vary, subject to NMAC credit approval. Not all buyers qualify. Dealer contribution may affect actual price set by dealer. Contact dealer for details. Ends 1/5/26.
Rumor has it there's a new side dish this fall season that's sweeter than your mom's sweet potato souffle. You can now earn Upside cash back at Giant. That's right. You can get up to $15 cash back on every Giant run at more than 100 stores in D.C., Maryland, Virginia, and Delaware. Whether you're shopping for the entire holiday menu or just picking up some last-minute items and find some peace and quiet while you're at it, you'll get Upside cash back on every Giant run. It's a pretty big deal.
Download the free Upside app and start earning today. Use promo code CHARM12 to get a $10 bonus on your first grocery purchase at Giant. That's promo code CHARM12 to get a $10 bonus at Giant. Use promo code CHARM12. Giant is now on Upside. That's a pretty big deal.
Offers vary by user and location at participating merchants. Go to upside.com for terms and conditions.
It's the McDonald's postgame show. Call or text with your take on the Ravens game. 410-583-1057.
Probably, I just think the poise. Like Marlon made a good point in the break before the game. He said, make it about the next play. He said, when you're a defensive back, you have to play that way. You got to have a short memory. And he kind of implored the whole team to make it about the next play. And I thought we did that. And if you look at our offense, I feel like our offense did that. Our offense, first quarter, we were just trying to find our way a little bit. And you got to be patient. You don't want to be impatient. Do something that's going to hurt your team. And they didn't. They were patient. Be patient. That was the verse from James 5:7. Be patient, therefore, brethren, until the coming of the Lord. And I think it applied to the game. Certain patience that we played with and kept playing winning football, and it paid off for us.
Yeah. I mean, that's exactly what I said earlier. We're on to the next play. Said it was Zay Flowers. Costly drop that leads to an interception. The very next drive, he gets elbowed pretty viciously to the head, still holds on to the football, and catches a touchdown on that drive. Now, again, we talked about the other drop, but that was there. Lamar misses a throw to Andrews. A few plays later, hits Zay in the back of the end zone with a beautiful ball for a touchdown. They're not perfect, but they're able to build off of some of the mistakes and right the wrongs. Kyle Van Noy jumps offside when they're probably going to punt the football. He jumps offside. It's like, what is the thought? And he's a vet. What did he do? Well, as the game went on, he got a ton of pressure and came away with the game-sealing interception, to which he handed the ball to Alohi Gilman. And any of the new listeners, you might not be like me. And Mike Popovic made a great point earlier. That was something you've seen from the old Ravens defenses, right? Ed Reed trailing behind, somebody trying to get the football. We've seen that a lot. Now with this team, how things have gone, I'm just yelling, get down. He hands it to Gilman, who runs away from anybody, not even close. So that was exciting to see, but I was not, hoping. I was hoping that Alohi Gilman would just go down. He keeps running and scores a touchdown. Alohi Gilman, I did mention earlier, he had a few comments about this week of practice and how they kind of felt coming off that Bengals game. Here he is talking about that.
Yeah, I think we had a little bit more just intentionality when it came to like what we got to do better. Looking at the past couple games, different phases, situational ball, where we can have a little extra communication and just be a little bit more on top of it. And we did that today. We made sure we're on it in those situations, and it paid off.
I said it to Mike. I said it on the show. Like, could they have gotten punched in the face at a different time than Thanksgiving and rebounded this way? Now, the Steelers game, they didn't. But the Bengals, it was clear there was a point of emphasis on keeping things in front of you and finishing tackles. I was going to say, they've gotten kind of beat up all year long. Like the Houston game was the rock bottom. They bounced back. They went on a little bit of a run. But there's been a few, like the Steelers games. Like, what are we doing here? But this team, they looked disciplined. They looked like they were well coached today. They played good football. And it's really good to see. It's refreshing because we have not seen a lot of that. Even in some of their wins, you just come away like, well, it wasn't pretty, but they were able to get the job done. No, today it was pretty. It was exactly what needed to be done, so cannot complain there. Alohi Gilman was just talking about practices. Here's John Harbaugh talking about that during the week.
Well, guys were sharp. It was our best week practice all the way around. Like I said, we've had really good practices. The offense has had really good practices too. And then, sometimes it doesn't translate to the game. It translated to the game, and I do think it translated in a way from the patient standpoint. Like our guys didn't get rattled, I think that we knew we had some plays, kind of up our sleeve. Lamar did a great job, like the touchdown pass to Ali. That was a Lamar check all the way. Lamar got us to that play, pulled it out of the game plan right at the right time, and made it happen. To me, that's a function of preparation.
That's interesting. I hadn't heard that cut yet. It is interesting hearing John say that. That's a check from Lamar, and it was the perfect check. Nobody was anywhere near Ali, and he was way faster than anybody to catch him. So it was interesting to hear John say that. Very great play by Lamar. And that's been something that we've seen him able to check into some things with Todd Monken, whereas with Greg Roman, that wasn't the case. And he's had a lot of success doing it. Now this year, there's been a lot of criticism of it, and he's had some struggles with it. Today, clearly, there weren't many. Because when they did, the offense looked efficient everywhere other than that first drive. I mean, they were simple, and the one drive was kind of killed from Lamar tripping over a guy who we just didn't see, who had fallen on the ground and ended up, being hurt for the Bengals. So it was good to see the offense do enough to win the game. I mean, they weren't bad. The offense was solid. They didn't need to do much. Cincinnati, and Mike pointed out, Cincinnati controlled the football for a long damn time. They just could not punch it in. And, then there would be a costly sack. Tavius Robinson with the big 16-yard sack of Joe Burrow to take them out of field goal range. Them going for it on 4th and short, and the Ravens getting a number of stops. A field goal being 52 yards in the coldest game that Cincinnati's played in a while. Those things impact, how they can go approach it. And I am glad that the defense finally gets a shutout. They deserved it today. They were prepared. They were ready to go. You have to credit the defense as a whole. You got to credit Zach Orr for having the guys prepared, and ultimately John Harbaugh as the head coach. It was just a good showing as a unit. But it can't be this, and then next Sunday night, we're scratching our heads again because it's the same mistakes that we saw at home against Pittsburgh, that we saw at home on Thanksgiving against Cincinnati. They got to build off of this. And they have the veteran staff and a lot of veteran players who have experienced some things like this, that they should be able to build off of it. Now, it's hard to expect it with how this year's gone. Again, nobody could have predicted them shutting the Bengals out. You could have maybe predicted the Ravens dominating that defense or any of those things. Nobody could have predicted a shutout from this defense against a Joe Burrow-led offense. You just couldn't. Appreciate everybody tuning in. That is it for my portion of the Ravens, the Baltimore Game Day Uncensored postgame show. Before we do wrap it up, we do always have to read, our McDonald's chicken nugget read. When the opponent misses a field goal, you get a free 6-piece McNuggets with minimum $1 purchase on the McDonald's app the next day. They miss another field goal, you're upgraded to a free 10-piece. No field goals missed today. They didn't try any. It was cold and just kind of where they were. So it was good to see the Ravens defense do enough. Keep the field goal unit off the field, and hold them ultimately to a shutout. It would have been a little bit nicer if they did miss a field goal, though, so could have got free chicken nuggets, but ultimately don't. Do not change that dial yet. Mike Popovic coming up with the overtime portion of the Baltimore Game Day Uncensored postgame show.
And now, fantasy football tips from the Maryland Lottery. You've played the matchups, made some trades, and worked the waiver wire. Now it's time to enjoy a series of devastating injuries to your roster. It's not too late to change your game to Raven Scratch-Offs from the Maryland Lottery. Unlike in your fantasy league, you've still got a shot to win prizes like Raven season tickets for 20 years. Play today and maybe work in some stretching. Please play responsibly.
Bring it 2026 with a bang on New Year's Eve at Barrel House Live with the one and only Amish Outlaws.